Do you want your app to support automatic state restoration in SwiftUI's new navigation system? This video uses enums and user defaults to achieve just that. This video does not have a sponsor. If you like my work or learned something from my videos, please consider subscribing. And if you're an indie developer working on your own projects, I suggest checking out Launchbody on the Mac App Store. It's a free project management tool that I developed myself. I have an empty Xcode project here, so let's dive right in. First of all, we will create a simple navigation stack with a list to navigate to two different types of pages. So let's get rid of this vstack here and replace it with a navigation stack. This will just take in a view, and in our case, this will just be a list. We're not iterating over any kinds of content, we're just using the list for styling purposes. So I will add two navigation links here, and these navigation links will go to two different kinds of pages. I want to have a page for a person to display details about them, and then also a page for plants to display details about those. These are just examples for this video. Really, this could be any kind of type that you want to support. Now, in order to make this happen, we will create an enum, and I will just call it navigation page. You can call this enum whatever you want. This will have two cases. So the first case is person, and that will just take in a string name. If you have more complex types that you need to have as your navigation page details, basically, instead of just a string name here, you can also use those as associated values here. Just bear in mind that they need to be codable and hashable, but we'll come back to that in just a second. So first of all, we want to navigate to person details, and then we also want to navigate to plant details. This navigation page also needs to be hashable in order to work with our navigation stack. So our link, the first one will just be about me. So I will be passing in a navigation page.person with the name of Flo. And then let's create a second navigation link. So I'll just copy paste this one, and the second one will be about a tree. So it's not a person anymore. This one is a plant, and the plant's name is tree. Not very creative, I know, but I'm just trying to show you that this approach works for multiple types of data that you want to use as your navigation pages. Okay, so right now, if we click on these links, nothing will happen because we haven't specified the navigation destinations yet. So let's do that next. In order to do that, just go to your list and add the navigation destination view modifier. Here you need to specify which hashable type you want the destination to be used for. So in our case, we want to use the navigation page, since that's what we passed in as the value in our navigation links. If you have any questions about NavigationStack and the new value-driven navigation destinations, I recommend you watching my first video about NavigationStack that's linked down in the video description. Okay, so now that we have this view modifier here, we will get our navigation page in, and then in here we can just switch over the page, as there are two different cases. So the first case will be .person, and then we of course want to capture the name. Then for the person, we will just have a text saying person and then that person's name. And then we will basically do the same thing for the plants. And instead of saying person, we will just say that these are the details about the plant. Now with this setup in place, we can actually click on our navigation link, and you will see clicking the first one takes us to person Flo, and clicking the second one takes us to plant tree. Of course, you could now go deeper into the navigation hierarchy, add more navigation links in here and so on. No issue at all, but just for the sake of this video, that's actually not needed. Okay, so in order to control this navigation stack, we need to add the path parameter. This can either be of type navigation path, or it can be our own array of hashable types. And since we already have an enum that's hashable here, we can just use that as our navigation path. So let me create an add state var navigation path this will be an array of navigation page. And in the beginning, of course, it will be an empty array because we haven't navigated anywhere yet. And then for the navigation stacks parameter, here we can just provide a binding to our navigation path. Technically, nothing has changed right now since we're not using this path anywhere, but we'll do that in just a second. So right now, there's no state restoration yet. If you click on flow, close the app, reopen it, nothing will happen. You will still be on the home page here. In order for that to work, we need to somehow save this navigation path and then restore it when the app gets opened again. That way, the app will automatically navigate to exact the same destination as it was beforehand, even with the steps in between if there were any. In order to make that happen, we can just use UserDefaults. And using UserDefaults in SwiftUI is as simple as replacing the state property wrapper with the AppStorage property wrapper. Now, of course, we need to provide a key here, and I will just call this one our navigation path. Make sure this string is unique and you're not using it for any other UserDefaults interactions in your app. But now you will notice that this does not work. And the reason for that is because we're using our own custom type here. We can actually use the AppStorage property wrapper and UserDefaults for our own types. And I found a blog post by Nil Coalescing on nilcoalescing.com. This post is also linked down in the video description. I really recommend this blog actually, so check it out if you have the time or if you want to learn more about SwiftUI and advanced stuff like this. This is basically just a code snippet that I will quickly copy over because it's a bit too long and unnecessarily complex to type out in the video. What this does is it conforms an array of navigation page to the raw representable protocol. This way we can actually make our navigation page codable now, and then it uses the JSON decoder to decode it from some raw value and then also encodes it to a raw value. You don't really need to understand why this is needed, but this is basically the setup that allows us to use our codable type, whatever that type is, it just needs to be codable. We can use that as an array in UserDefaults now. So in our case, we conformed it for an array of navigation page. That way we can now use our array of navigation page in UserDefaults using the AppStorage property wrapper. Just to reiterate, the enum navigation page is codable, which is needed for this AppStorage dance here with the raw representable protocol. And it is hashable, which is needed for the navigation stack and the navigation links. Now let's run this app in the iPhone simulator. Okay, so the simulator is now running and I can click on flow and it will navigate to person flow. And if I go back and click on tree, it will navigate to plant tree. Nothing fancy yet, so let's open up multitasking, kill the app and open it up back again. And you will see that we're not on the home page of the app. We're actually at plant tree, which is because we're using this navigation path here, which is an array of navigation pages, and we're saving it to UserDefaults using the AppStorage property wrapper. That means that every time the user clicks on one of these navigation links here, now this is just a preview but doesn't really matter, that will get added to our array of navigation pages, and then that in return will get saved to UserDefaults using the AppStorage property wrapper. And then when the app launches again, the navigation stack will already have a path here with that page from the last session. All of this is once again possible because our enum up here is hashable and codable, and we made it work with the AppStorage property wrapper using this brilliant little snippet from the Nil Coalescing blog. If you enjoyed this feature, I would appreciate a like and you subscribing this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!